Hi, it's your instructor Bianca Stump again in week 3 of our History 221 course, now giving you an overview of Unit 2 with special attention to this week's writing assignment. As I mentioned in the first preview video last week for Unit 1, I always encourage you to check out the misconceptions and difficult topics. One, for example, being the Puritans and Pilgrims being one and the same. In fact, they're quite different, both in motivation and in outcome. Also, that American colonists did not profit from their participation in the British Empire. This is probably one that economists have given a lot of attention to as well. In fact, very little had been asked in return for much of the colonial experience. And Americans did enjoy quite a lot of benefit from being part of the British Empire early into the colonial experience. And then also that American colonists naturally supported the Revolution. Because we can sort of celebrate its successes, we are apt to forget that there was a strong loyalist contingent in the American colonies, since this was in fact such an untested idea. And also, as in all conflicts, a lot of people who were sort of in the middle, watching and cautiously waiting for the outcome. As I mentioned before, of course, the reading assignment for the unit is there, chapters 4 through 6. And while you are not required to answer and submit to me the self-check and assessment questions here, I think scanning them and making sure you're comfortable sort of answering them aloud to yourself or, sort of jotting down notes of how you would approach them is the best way to ensure you've mastered that material. I provided the Cengage Learning online lecture links, the Annenberg videos, and also our friend John Green. Just again, in an effort to have a video portrayal of the information that supplements what I'm providing for you here in the course and what you're encountering in your text and in any other research you're doing. There is a Unit 2 required quiz, no time limit, but you must complete it, of course, in one sitting. Unit 2 also includes a discussion board, and just as a reminder on those discussion boards, you click Create Thread and you'll see the prompt there. Remember, you are to post an analytical and specific position, and that you need to use evidence, specific, relevant historical details that support your position. Try to avoid a lot of generalities and a lot of sort of, yeah, I agree posts in response to your peers. Really treat these as sort of mini short answer questions in a way. What would you say in a debate on a topic to a peer if you had really prepared for that in advance? Also, in terms of earning your best credit here and showcasing best your understanding, remember you post your own analytical and specific position with evidence, and you need to reply to 2 of your classmates. In other words, you have participated a minimum of 3 posts in the discussion forum. That's true for this Unit 2 post and all the ones that you'll be doing in this class. Oops. Well, I was very human and clicked on the wrong thing, and now, of course, all right, here we go. Unit 2, Week 3, back to where we were with the discussion board. Now I'd like to give my best and longest attention to the writing assignment. You will tackle a writing assignment akin to this a few other times in the course, so I think it's worthwhile to sort of linger here. The Unit 2 written assignment is a 2-page paper about a historical controversy, and you will be writing whether or not Anne Hutchinson should have been rightfully banished from the Massachusetts Bay Colony. To do this, you will be using a resource online called SAS Curriculum Pathways. And additionally, I would just point you that I have created a tutorial that is available for you in the syllabus and text button. In other words, if you don't find the website to be as intuitive as I hope you find it to be, there is a step-by-step pictorial resource for you under the syllabus and text button that can make you familiar with what you need to do with that website. And of course the rubric is there as mentioned last unit. So I just want to open up this assignment, excuse me, and go over a couple of its highlights with you. All right, again, as I mentioned, you are going to be writing a paper that answers in past tense if the Puritan leaders should have in fact banished Anne Hutchinson. You will go to the website sascurriculumpathways.com and use the username Campbell Student. Everyone in class uses this username, and you actually leave the password at login blank. So I'm going to just do that for us here as an example. Okay, I'm at the SAS Curriculum Pathways website. I'm going to log in, and my username is going to be Campbell Student with no password and log in. While that's going on, I'll point out that you may have to download some additional software. If you did, it would be free and the system would prompt you to do it. Ultimately, we are looking to examine resource 29. Okay, so I'm logged in here as Campbell Student. I go to Quick Launch menu 29 and click Go. And I want to allow and remember, again, following any prompts that the website gives me so that the functionality is there. In my case, I didn't require any kind of download. Here you enter your first and last name. You'll see we're at the entry page to the Trial of Anne Hutchinson, exploring the history of that community and its unity, where heretic or hero, depending on your position, Anne Hutchinson lived. You'll click on Go, and you will watch 3 background movies. There's an opportunity here for you to type in notes and submit to me, but you don't need to do the notes. I just want you to watch the closed captioned videos. They provide a kind of secondary source backdrop to the question. Remembering the work you did on types of historical sources in Unit 1, these background movies are secondary sources. Click on the Document Analyzer, and you will see that there are 3 excerpted primary source documents. The governor of the Massachusetts Bay Colony, the actual trial proceeding of Anne Hutchinson's trial, and then also the document where the court concludes her innocence or guilt, the sentencing of Anne Hutchinson. And you can also notice if you needed for some reason to view these offline, you could open and save or print a PDF. Now, while there are fancier features in SAS Curriculum Pathways, I really just want you to log in, watch the background movies, and become familiar with these documents. You don't have to submit anything in this system to me. Go back to this Word document. You've completed steps 2, 3, 4, and 5. And what you're doing with that information that you've encountered online is composing a minimum 2-page Word document that answers the question about the banishment of Anne Hutchinson. In your paper, you're using the sort of format of an introduction, bodied paragraphs, and a conclusion. And as you're making the point whether or not, and it can be a yes or no answer, she should have been banished, based on the conduct that you will have researched online in the website from SAS, make sure that you use quoted excerpts from the documents. You need to use the evidence from the time period being studied. That's the richest. We weren't alive yet. They've been dead a long time. You've got to use the material of the time period. Now, while the background videos can certainly be referenced, something you encountered in your text or elsewhere is fine, but a big portion of your argument has to be rooted in those documents of the past. Once you've written that paper, you would go back to our Blackboard course site, click on this link, and do what you did with your work in the previous unit. Browse the computer to attach that file. Click about the plagiarism check. and click submit, and it will be there for me to evaluate. So again, I just wanted to walk you through the SAS requirement a little more detailed this time since it is our first time. We will go back later and do work with this again. For example, you're going to write a paper using the same resource, the same kind of format, that real requirement to have primary sources, in arguing later if the Mexican-American War was justified or not. I hope this has been helpful, and of course, you know that I'm always available to you, and I do look forward to reviewing your work. Thanks.